What's up, man?
What's up, man?
How you doing tonight?
Doing all right. I guess I've just been saying, new mic, new life, and that's been
Outstanding.
it.
All right, we got some people in the chat.
Okay.
H2O, what's up? Beat unworthy.
Ooh,
And what's up?
what's up?
Triple Toys, thanks for joining us.
Okay.
So we have a very special show tonight. We have SP Toy Photography Challenges. The two people that run that, Sharkman Dave, we've had him on before with a couple shows back, and E7 Plays. What I've seen from their page, it is pretty awesome what they do. They put out these challenges. I think they run for 2 weeks apiece, and they're very inclusive of everybody. They invite everybody to join up, use their hashtag, tag them, and it's just another way for people in the toy community to put their work out and to get recognized for it. And they do a pretty awesome job from what I've seen. First of all, Vigo's not going to be with us tonight. He had a prior engagement that he had to go to. So what's up, Green? It's just going to be me and you.
Ooh.
And Sharkman Dave and E7 Plays. So let's bring them on.
All right.
Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
What's up? What's up?
Sharkman Dave, we've had you on before, and it was an awesome time. Awesome time. Absolutely.
Indeed.
Awesome time.
Indeed. Agreed.
E7, we've not had you before, so
what's going on, everybody?
We're going to have you start off and tell us a little bit about yourself.
A little bit about what do you want to know?
What do you want to tell us? What's your background? What's your favorite toys? What's
Yeah, well, I go by the handle e7.plays on Instagram. Longtime toy collector, toy photographer. Reluctant part of the community. I mean, part of the community. It's photography is a love of mine. Action figures and general nerdity is kind of a love of mine. So they eventually came together in picture form, and I've just been this has been my go-to hobby ever since. Me and Dave have known each other since the early days too, and we've just been kind of feeding off each other, trying to help each other grow. We're local to each other relatively too, so we see each other in person. So yeah, I mean,
nice.
If you want to get specific, it's hard to just say about myself, but I mean, that's basically it. I try to improve toy photography with my work and with my friendships. So, yeah.
What year did you start, Eric? I can't even remember. I know you were obviously a few years before I did, but
I mean, if I had to guess, probably 2012.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
okay.
You've been doing this a long time then. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I mean, there's been people doing it a long, long time, but it's just been, to be honest, technology caught up to things too. And I had even just got Instagram when I was starting toy photography. So even the fact that able to post what I was photographing to people to appreciate was a big part of doing it and accelerating that too. Because before you take a photo and be like, haha, oh, now no one can see it. You want to be an artist for yourself, but at the same time, artists put their art in galleries for seeing too. So it's just I saw it as a chance to have a gallery, and from there, all of a sudden, there's a big community presence, and I was making friends, so it was nice.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the biggest parts of this community that I've learned is probably one of the biggest bonuses of being part of it is meeting so many new people and connecting on this nerdy level that everybody thought they left back when they were a kid. Well, we're adults now. We can we go to work, we're I can't really talk about it, but there's this whole community out there.
And I mean, also too, we're talking about engineering in the design of action figures now. There was no engineering in the design of action figures back when we were young. There was
That's true.
It was
Take
all
some
5.
arms.
It was all 5 points. It was all retro.
Yeah.
Like
5
I'm
points
trying to do.
articulation. Yeah, arms
So,
moving, heads to turn basic
dude,
shit.
I got my
You get that leg
hands.
kick.
I got my
Yeah.
hands on one of the first. Even when I started doing it, like only people that have double jointed stuff was Marvel Legends.
Hmm. Yeah.
Nothing else even had double joints at that point.
No, for sure.
So I got
For
my
sure.
hands on the first double jointed Marvel Legends, and I was like, oh
Toy
my,
Biz.
yeah,
Mhm.
it was a Toy Biz Wiccan from Young Avengers
Of course.
actually.
Sweet.
But even I was like, oh my god, you can get this guy into all kinds of scenarios and just gestures and poses and bro, if from there I was just like, okay, this is where this at now. So I'm like, cool.
Mhm.
Where's my favorite characters at?
Yep.
You know.
All right, let's go to the chat real quick. Deadman One, thanks for joining us. Wyatt, what's up? Unworthy, thanks for joining us. Let's see.
All right.
There you go. I almost didn't dare to show my face. Should beat you. Bobby, what's up, Bud Scuffer? How's it going? All right, so Sharkman Dave, I'm not going to leave you out for the people that did not catch our last show. Why don't you tell everybody about a little bit about yourself before we get started?
No, yeah, I mean, I'm in the same boat as Eric. I've been a long time collector, like I mentioned in the last episode, but I probably only started about a year after Eric. Actually, I think is pretty much what I mentioned last time. But yeah, for me, it was always a collection. That's where it all started, kind of thing. As a young kid, I was always into it. Mostly Marvel shit. Mostly Marvel and DC. I was super into Batman and all that kind of stuff. But growing older, I think I even mentioned last time, there's like that dark period where all of a sudden you just don't care about toys. Maybe in your earlier teens or something like that, or you just you don't really know why you're collecting them anymore or something like that. So
only losers collect them, bro.
Yeah, well, at that time, So anyway,
like, you still play with toys? God.
Yeah. God.
But then it came back around. I got given a gift. I took a shot of it, posted it on Instagram, got a bunch of likes, saw a bunch of different hashtags, and it evolved like immensely, right? So after taking photos of Lego forever, it was I would see photos of some of my favorite heroes and shit like that, and eventually came into contact with Eric. Actually, I think one of our first DMs back and forth was like him showing me a customization that he did to like his what was it, Marvel Select Venom. He gave it an extra bit of ab articulation, right? So
nice.
I remember he came back to me with that, and then since then, him and I had been communicating. Like I found it super cool that he got back to me because I had already been kind of looking up to him and certain other photographers in that realm at that time. So I found it super cool that I was like, oh, cool. This Eric guy who I've already been following for a little bit, and I enjoy his photos super immensely. Like he got back to me, so it was like a pseudo celebrity, like.
You were starstruck.
And then I was starstruck by you, Eric. Yeah. No, but so I kept trying to reach out to him, and then hopefully improve my photography through him, which he obviously he did help me improve. So it was really cool. And then I got invited onto a podcast with him and a few other guys, the ATH Redknots at the time, and that was that's kind of where it is, where it is. And then Eric and I have been friends ever since. So like he said, we get to see each other in person. We've gone to a few cons together.
Nice.
He's hooked me up with some sweet care packages over the time of us being friends and stuff like that. Just some figs either he's customized or just kind of felt done with, and that I might be able to show some love to. That kind of thing.
Much
so.
shit. Yeah, I got too much.
Yeah.
That's part of the community, enabling our friends.
Yeah.
That's what
They're right.
Bro, we used to do giveaways. Remember doing giveaways, Dave? Like
definitely, man.
Promotion of pages back in the day was like, I'll do a giveaway.
Yeah, for sure. No, it was totally different back in the day, but yeah, no, it kicked off. Him and I have always been buddies, and back and forth, reluctant parts of the community, like we're always kind of laughing at where it goes and how people treat each other and what expectations are sometimes and all this kind of shit. And it's fake and it's not, and it's fake and it's not. And it's what it, Eric and I just kind of laugh and roll our eyes at a lot of shit that happens on Instagram and stuff. And, And over time, we kind of realized, we were having fun sending each other the odd collab, and then I think just kind of we decided we wanted to start up a page and start maybe just challenging ourselves is kind of what it started off with. I think there was like a couple weeks back and forth where we did collabs where it was like, hey, let's try and make sure that we're hitting this technique or some shit, and then and then eventually we just kind of like, let's start this up. Let's do something where like either weekly or bi-weekly we set something out for people to try out, and then progressively make them more challenging, and hopefully us grow as well. Because like I said, in the beginning parts of it, especially, I shouldn't even say beginning. Every week when we put out a challenge, I was usually looking things up. Like I had to learn about that challenge myself, right? So there's a lot of things that Eric taught me. There's a lot of things that I learned in small photography classes, which is kind of cool. But man, it like I said, it evolved from there. Yeah.
So Eric,
like let's not forget too, back in the day, we were striving for people to help us learn too. And like that's the basis of this SP Toy Photo Challenge page. It's like actual progression in photography.
Yeah.
Like, and it's I don't know how much you want to like iterate that, Dave, but like it's not a hashtag just to put on anything like a Toy Pops. It's like literally a themed challenge. So if it's like a DC character, it needs to be a DC character, and it's putting up parameters and guidelines to make people basically step outside their comfort zone,
right,
and give it a shot.
I use that term a lot when it comes to SBTC. It's literally that. It's stepping outside your comfort zone. I don't know how many times I've done it. I think one of the biggest ones was when we did a high shutter speed challenge, and that kind of limits the participation because not everyone's shooting with like a DSLR. Even some people are still using their phone and whatever else, right? But it just came down to like me really having to step outside my comfort zone, maybe adjust some camera settings a little bit, things that you're not, quite comfortable with, it just push yourself a little bit. Right. So there's been a handful that I can think of where I'm like, that wasn't, I don't know how much I'm super, you know what I mean? Like keen on trying that out, it's exactly that. It's not something I've ever done before or whatever. Right. But, and that's a risk. And especially if we were doing at the beginning, we were doing these weekly, and that was like kind of tough to like, okay, I got to learn something like in a night or two. And then depending on how busy my week is, I might be able to get it tomorrow night or the next night. And then if like I flop, I need another try, So it was good that we ended up doing this 2-week process now, because it does give us both an opportunity to either figure the technique out or land what we want to do as the theme or whatever else, right?
And I'm gonna put this out there because Dave probably won't, but like all the credit goes to Dave for this page. It does.
Come on.
He approached me about it. Dave's always been about the community and like talking to people and gaining friends and knowledge and just basic camaraderie along the way. And he's always wanted to give back to the community, and I could just sense it. I don't know, you've never really told me that, Dave, but just through the idea that you were a high participant with the ATA Dreadnoughts and that podcast as well. We were doing features back then, and it was always about trying to shed light on smaller up-and-coming accounts and or photos that we thought were awesome and just were like being good friends, and a mixture of both. So Dave set this up. Dave is the one that posts, because my work schedule is kind of like I'm staying up late even right now. But I told him these things are kind of messing with me. It's harder for me to post when I need to, and he's like, "I'll post, send them to me." So I'm giving you all the credit, Dave.
Wow, buddy, I appreciate it, but no, I mean, it is a group effort. I mean, I do a lot of the legwork, you know what I mean, but it's like he just said, my schedule allows for it more than his, but I have to give him a lot of the credit in terms of like what the challenge is, or how to even accomplish that, or what the new hashtag is going to be, or you know what I mean. Like there's tons of stuff.
Little nuances.
tons of nuances. I mean, even what the photo is going to be, because like, I very much like the idea of, especially if we're doing a challenge where it's like, this is a theme. I like kind of matching Eric's photo a little bit and him matching mine a little bit, right? So even if it's not necessarily the same character, I want it to be kind of like either the same like universe or realm, or maybe the same kind of action that's going on, or maybe even just the complete opposite in terms of like framing and like, you know, their posing and stuff like that. I love doing that kind of thing because it shows that him and I are on a similar level in terms of photography, right. and on top of that, like, you know, we're both trying to accomplish this little task, right? Or big, if that ends up being the case for you. But you know, that's where we've been having a lot of fun with it. But like I said, a lot of nuances go off to Eric, because without it, I'd be running into roadblocks nonstop.
Yeah.
So
it definitely takes a team to run it.
Yeah, like for sure. Yeah, absolutely. And I would say that he has more of the knowledge. So I just have fun, and like he said, I do enjoy being a part of the community, and I do enjoy interacting with people. You know, that's kind of who I am. I've always been that way, a bit of a social dude. So yeah, that part of it is really fun for me, and kind of easy. And I have a long commute to work back and forth, so in that time, I tend to do a lot of that stuff. So,
but what you guys are doing, it's going beyond just like the photography aspect. You're pushing people to, like you said, learn new settings on your camera, depending on what you have. Learning, you know, pushing yourself to see what your phone can actually really do with these photos.
That's right.
Because I know the newer phones, you can change your shutter speed. You can change that a little
exactly.
bit. So.
Yeah. Right. ISO, like you can change so much on the newer cameras and stuff like that, right? So, and that's kind of, I wanted to even blurt that out while we're on the show tonight. Make sure you guys are actually listening to our reels, our behind the scenes reels, because they often tell you guys what the expectations are of the challenge and the theme. And you know, we do get a lot of submissions. I've even had a couple DMs being like, "Oh, how come I wasn't featured or whatever in the featured reel?" And it's usually just because of that. It's either not hitting the theme that we set you guys out to do, or you just didn't tag us specifically, or we lost you in the hashtag, because there's a lot of participants now, or at least a lot of people that throw in the hashtag. Yeah. You know, it is, as I know, SPTC is growing in the community. Whether it be whether or not they're taking a part in the actual challenge or the theme itself, but it is growing in terms of participation. So there are a lot of pictures that get lost in the buzz. So it's you know, it's necessary. You guys listen to that and tag us specifically.
Yeah, and the IG algorithm will get you every time.
Dude, every time.
Seems to be always working against us. If you're not doing a reel that's like using their specific code or whatnot, then. Yeah,
and honestly, fuck that too. I hate Instagram.
I know. Seriously.
I always joke with my friends that one day I want to win the lottery, and I'm going to start a straight toy photography Instagram like thing, and just everybody can leave Instagram and just go to that platform.
Actually, that's actually a sick idea.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Straight up.
I just got to get the funding. So, Dave, we've talked before, you've taken photo classes and stuff like that, but did you ever have like jobs as a professional photographer? Or
myself?
Has it always been? Yes.
No.
Okay. What about you, Eric? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead, Eric.
Okay.
No, dude, I literally started shooting stuff with iPhone like 4 or something like that. And just kind of, I guess you can call it self-taught. I mean, I look up a bunch of shit if I'm not sure how to do something, or I'm always looking for someone sharing new techniques online. And I'm just like, the newest technique I learned is called the Pepper's Ghost technique. And it's like, that's like as of last year, recent. So always learning stuff, and just, I guess you could say, self-taught. You gotta have an eye for what looks kind of right.
Right.
I talk about that a lot.
Yeah. I think that's,
having an eye is very important. Yeah.
Having like your guys' types of pages and what you guys do for your community and stuff like that. I think this is, you know, everybody thinks of like photographer says, "Oh, well, they've gone to school, they've done the job, they've done the work, da 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 da." But I mean, there's so many examples, like so many great photographers out there in the community that you can learn from that are like you guys. You guys are awesome photographers. Your work is, speaks for itself. But you guys are self-taught. You guys learn this by working with each other, working with others in the community, and growing as you go, and always challenging yourself. And I think that's probably one of the biggest benefits of your guys' collab and pages is just like you said, it challenges people to push through past their boundaries, go outside their comfort zone, and learn these things. I mean, anybody can take a picture of a figure or whatever, but when you kind of when I started, that's what I was like. I was like, oh, look, it's a picture, click, hey, I put it out there,
It's a
oh, look at
snapshot.
this cool thing, look at this cool thing. But then the more I see, it's like, I want to try to do that. I want to try to get like that. And it becomes like a drug. I want to get better. I want to get this. I want to learn. And, it kind of, it's a positive. Let me clarify. It's a positive drug to be a part of.
I think it just comes down to like a certain passion that's in certain.
Yeah.
I mean, Instagram is filled with photographers who are just collectors, and you know what I mean by that. They take their photo of the figure. There's no proper lighting. There's sometimes a small display, whatever, and that's cool. That's super cool. There's a lot of hand posers, whatever. That's they're collectors, right? And for me, I think it really rooted from like the fact that ever since I was a kid, I was drawing. Right, I was into art and stuff like that, which is where we'll eventually go with a small character named Wolf. But that's later. But no, I was always into drawing. Ever since I was a kid, I always did that thing at my family gatherings where I would draw a photo, real young kind of thing, and go around to each family member, like showing them, trying to get their approval. Yeah. So that I feel like that's more or less what I'm doing nowadays with my art on Instagram, right? Not necessarily feeling like I need anybody's approval, but like I want everyone to see it, and I want to keep growing, and that's literally where it's coming. Like I said, coming from. I like art so much that it translated into photography, and I wanted to continue growing in my art realm. And my passion fell into the photography aspect of it. And like I said, not everyone does that. People just love the toy, right? People just love the toy. People love handling it, and then they'll take a quick snapshot, right? I like the idea of storytelling now. I like the idea of having a really cool, either a comic book cover or like a movie cover or like a movie poster or something like that. I'm super into like movies and cinema, and cinema and stuff like that. So the more cinematic, the more badass, and the more I don't know. That's the kind of shit that really fires me up now, and I think that's what kind of drove SPTC as well.
Okay.
Yeah, but to be honest, too, Dave, it's like I don't know about you, but the whole idea of seeking approval, it's not even that. It's more like
no.
It's more like if I was
when I was a kid, that's how it was.
No, but today's version of that is basically us putting out stuff for like peer review.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm not looking for like, oh, that's amazing. It was cool, bro. I'm looking for more like someone like you that I respect as a photographer himself being like, oh, that's really good. Because I know why it's really good. I know you see the effort I've put into it, and not just like, oh, that was cool, and then just a scroll. Like,
and that's why, I think that goes for most of us when it comes to like the comments on our page. All of us appreciate like a cool, like, that's great, buddy, or all of that, or like the flames and like the thumbs up. But I think there's that little part of us in all of us that like when somebody puts a little bit of like, oh, that part of your photo or like that lighting or that small little extra bit in their comment, that it's like, oh, that guy knows why the photo's cool, or why I worked so hard at it, or what stands out to him, or whatever, right? So like that is cool, right?
Yeah. And that's part of building of the community is, putting your stuff out there and finding this common ground with other people that, like your work, and then kind of reach out to you afterwards, say, hey man, how did you pull that off? How did you do this? And kind of reaching out to you and saying, can you help me out this? I've been trying this. I can't figure out. How did you do it?
Like, I think I think you need the balls to do that too. Like
Yeah.
I love that. Like I said, I developed that relation. That's what you just described is exactly how I was approaching Eric, almost like every other week or something. I usually had a question of like, hey, how do you pull that off? Or like, what's up with your lighting? Or you know what I mean? Like, that's exactly it. Yeah.
And as someone in the community that's appreciative of all that stuff too, getting questions like that is like an honor. It's not like some people might be like, oh, this guy's asking me because I'm good. Like, if you're like that, I'm sorry, you're not really part of the toy community. You're just kind of like in it to try to win it. And it's like, as much as I agree with Dave with like the hand posing and just a quick snapshot with an iPhone and stuff, because even that has its place in the toy community. Yeah. The realm that we're in is high effort photography.
Yeah. It's actual photography. It's not, you know what I mean?
It's mini set design. It's basically like a mini, like a movie scene, but it's paused. It's a paused movie scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a still for sure. Yeah. That's what we're trying to go for versus, again, you can take a great DSLR photo of holding a figure and doing that, but it doesn't mean it's like, some great photography skills. Right. and that's what SPTC is about. We're really trying to actually just help people improve and step outside their comfort zone, right? Because that's what it was about for him and I to begin with. And I've been reinforcing that since the very beginning. Usually when I put something out, I'm saying, I've said it a bunch of times. We're not experts, like we both just said, we've never had any job doing this, right? Like I've been offered the odd photography gig at like a wedding or something like that. But even then I tell them like, this is what I do, by the way, like I shoot action figures. Like, I've taken some cool scenic shots as well, like outdoors and stuff like that. But that's, this is my skill and this is my passion. So like, that's I've grown and improved in that realm, and that's pretty much it. So, I feel like we've got enough experience to back ourselves up on some level, right? So,
if I did a wedding photo, it would look like an action figure photo.
I'd be getting, yeah.
Can you pose this way?
Yeah, I'd be like, okay, now make it look like you're going to hit the bride. Like grab the bride by the fucking throat.
Can I swap this guy's head? This guy's head sucks. Can I swap it?
Can I swap this guy's head? Actually, dude, do you got black gloves? I'd rather see you with black gloves on right now.
I need some soft goods in here.
Can you smoke for this picture?
Can we wait till nighttime to do these? I prefer a lot of low light.
Now, you guys have done a lot of challenges. What are some of your favorite challenges that you put out there?
Shit.
You said one of your hardest ones was the fast shutter speed, right?
Yeah, hardest. Yeah, in terms of like what I've had to kind of step outside of my comfort zone with, for sure. Yeah.
Now, what's been your favorite?
Eric, you go first. Do you have a favorite, buddy, or are you still thinking?
To be honest, they're all my favorite. So I would just basically choose one. Like, hey, my favorite is the newest Halloween challenge.
Yeah.
Don't forget to participate.
Don't forget to participate. And that's anything spooky, trick or treats, Halloween.
Well, you know what?
Wait, hold on.
We never hit on that too, because we did start off with like camera photography techniques, and we quickly realized that we need like themes as well, because everyone does themes and challenges. So it's like you get through the photography kind of class style techniques, and you know what? Throw in some. Okay, this is just a theme now. Like,
yeah,
I guess if I could say one of my favorite themes that we actually did that wasn't necessarily a challenge, but still is challenging. That's the thing. Like a theme can still be challenging too. Like,
yeah, that's exactly it.
The theme is like, it's not even a photography aspect. The theme was running. It's actually a posing aspect.
Yeah.
But
it's still a challenge.
For me, it was a huge challenge. I had to put up like fucking glass. I didn't want to hide a stand. I just wanted to get them on one foot and shit. So I'm like, so this theme actually becomes a challenge. So that's the whole idea. I wanted to put that out there too.
Yes. Very much. I agree.
Now, my co-host here, he's not a photographer yet. We're trying to enable him that way. but he is
Sweet.
a huge gamer and gamer advocate, trying to do the same thing you guys are doing in the gaming community, bringing everybody together under
Cool.
a community. Have
Eric's a big gamer.
you guys ever done a game challenge? Like, give me a game still.
You know what? We've talked about that. We've talked about doing game characters. Yeah, action figure form, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, like I have a whole box of video game action figures.
Yeah, we've talked about that. I mean, it's always going to be a toy photo challenge, right? It's never going to be. It's never going to be anything. It's never going to be anything outside of that.
No, I'm trying to enable him. So yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what,
dude?
For you, dude, having a screenshot or photo mode challenge is actually super dope.
Yeah. For the video game world, for sure.
Yeah, because I mean, that's kind of why we have Zay on the show. He has been such a asset because he carries that aspect that we as toy photographers don't really cover a lot, but is a huge part of toy photography when you look at the action figure that are the gaming action figures that we have. Everybody's trying to recreate the Mortal Kombat shots or the Street Fighter shots or whatever.
I was going to say Street Fighter,
Mega Man. Yeah,
it's up there with movie figures. I get it for sure.
100%. Yeah. 100%. I mean, I don't know how many years I've been. So just recently, I actually saw that one of the cons put out a like a resin, like a possibility of a Splinter Cell action figure. Splinter Cell has been my favorite game series of all time since the beginning of time. I'm like, I think I mentioned it last time, a bit of a military enthusiast, especially being like a one-man army, kind of a Rambo, like, snaking through the shadows, ninja kind of shit. That's always been my jam, Metal Gear as well, like that kind of thing. Exactly. Right. So Metal Gear, Splinter Cell, those have been my jams. Right. And I remember even a few years back, I was obsessed with the Division, Division 1 and 2 actually, but I remember I did a custom Division action figure, and then at that point I was like, I need a few, right, where I had like the little gas mask and like a little side gun on their backpack and shit, like a some sort of Parker jacket and like a scarf and shit. Like I was making, I love doing video game stuff, and there's tons of space in this world for that. Tons of it. Like I'm sure there's even some accounts that are pretty much specifically they're shooting exactly. There's specific accounts that are shooting pretty much all video game stuff. Some people are shooting all Mortal Kombat. It's fantastic. So I definitely, yeah.
Killzone says I believe Figma is doing a Splinter Cell figure. And it's a third-party company. Yeah.
I am on board for that. Like I'll spend over $100 on that. Like I'm usually a budget. I'm usually a budget friendly. I'm a budget friendly kind of collector, and like I run into that problem a lot actually with Eric, with Matt from TGAF, where it's like, okay, we're going to do this theme. Here's this character. Oh, you know what? Dave doesn't have that character because he's a bit of a, you know what I mean? Like I am a bit of a cheapskate. I don't have the biggest collection, and I'm very choosy as to who I get.
That's a good way to be, though.
It's just my lifestyle, man. Like I can't afford it all. So, and Mezco is tough for me to get. I get the odd one that I really want. But for me, I have a very hard time pulling the trigger on Mezco these days. But I mean, for me, it's NECA because they do a lot of cool movie stuff. But outside of that, I'm Marvel Legends and shit like that, right? Like and Joe's and shit, right? Because there's a lot of customizability with all that stuff. Hasbro's been killing it lately, and I can't deny it. And McFarlane has been killing it lately. He just pulled up McFarlane, and I love it. Buddy.
So wow, I gotta overcharge you and reuse everything all the time.
So Zay, are you collecting any figures right now, or what? What's up? Are you?
I don't have any figures as of yet. No.
Nothing like that. No. Have you been doing any kind of photography? You're just peace of mind for us all here. You're just taking part in the conversation.
Yeah, I've just been, every time I come in here, I always just like listen and just take in advice.
Take it in.
Just taking it all in. I'm probably just taking it for myself. I'm gonna start doing some soon because I have a couple of figures, like a couple, but they're all old. But I feel like this one's as soon as Vic told me what he told me, like anything works. So I feel like I can make it work. So I'm trying to look up some stuff.
I mean, if you're into it, you're into it. If you're not, you're not, right? You don't have to. You don't have to force. You don't have to force a hobby that's not. You know what I mean? That's not for you.
Yeah,
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, you do.
I think I've been
Do it.
I think since like the third episode, I feel like I've been like, I think I got hooked into it. I was interested, but now it's just like, oh, okay, yeah, I think I'm.
I mean, were you ever into comics and shit like that?
Comics, no, but I did have a Blue Beetle comic book when I was younger, but that was the only comic book I ever had.
Everyone's into movies. You're into movies and shit, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah,
Dude,
so
he's younger than my daughter.
Oh yeah, how old are you, Zach?
17.
17. Shit. Yeah, you're a baby boy. That's cool though. That's cool. That's
Way
cool.
to grow.
That's cool, man. Hey, man,
Right.
I didn't start this shit. Like I said, it was only about 12 years ago, right? So, so I mean, it's not, you know, I'm almost, I'm getting close to 40. So
just stay on your nerdy path and you'll be fine, dude. You're safe.
Yeah.
Amongst the nerds, you're safe.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah, there is no age. There is no age in this realm.
No. I'm 300. I mean, you can barely tell.
Yeah, that's it. I can tell.
No, they put a lot of stuff out there that, like, you know, if you want to get inspired to take some video game shots, his channel is definitely the place to go take a look at it.
Fair enough.
So yeah,
Bro,
Sick.
sounds awesome, man.
What do you? What's your main games, eh? Really quick. What do you play?
Yeah.
Mostly a fighting game person for the most part. Fighting game person / retro gamer. Street Fighter is more my go-to.
Street Fighter.
That's mostly
Sick.
my favorite.
Sick.
So you're like an anime kid?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I grew up on a lot of Naruto, Pokemon.
Oh, yeah, dude.
So that's what he would collect. Then he'd be all about the Dragon Ball Z, all that shit.
Probably.
Yeah.
More than
Naruto. Yeah.
Bro,
That's
I grew
cool.
up with Hookups.
Huge in this
skateboard company.
Oh.
The Hookup Skateboard Company. That was my first introduction to all kinds of anime.
Okay.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
My first anime.
That's some 90s shit.
I think my first anime was Pokemon.
Oh yeah.
That was my first.
Pokemon goes back pretty far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Pokemon's what 200-300 years old right now.
Yeah, Eric's age, exactly.
I was there.
I was there.
He was there for the first episode. He was there for the first part that dropped.
That's it.
Oh man! But I mean, all these worlds, it's you know, it's awesome how they can come together, and you know, the movie nerds, the video game nerds, the action figure nerds, all these worlds come together, and you know, we can all come to kind of a meeting point to join ideas and things like that, and just expand from there and teach each other, you know, about
they all cross over
the world. Yeah, you know,
they all cross over, like action figures, video games, and movies. Movies have video games, and I mean, if you want to get crazy, like Toy Story is like an action figure movie in a sense.
Yeah, it's great.
And what else? Like video games.
Think of Puppet Master and shit like that. You know, like we're going old school horror and shit. But
they all cross over somehow.
And then the player one.
Player one, oh yeah.
That's movies directly into video games. That's right.
Yeah,
there's that.
The epitome of it.
What was that Disney movie as well? There's like a where he smashes shit. Fucking what's his name? Wreck-It Ralph. Yeah, right. That plays into a whole bunch of video games and stuff like that too, right? So that's pretty cool.
So many figures coming from these movies. I mean, I've seen customs of that Mecha Godzilla from Ready Player One. That I was like, man, I gotta get my hands on that.
And it's like, don't get me started on the Marvel movies.
Oh, jeez.
They directly have all sorts of Marvel Legends. It's amazing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So this journey with SP Toy Challenges, where do you see it going in the future? Where do you want to see it go? Do you want to kind of see it expand? Do you want to see? I mean,
so like Eric was saying before, I think the idea is like, we're bouncing back and forth between like like a specific theme or even like a technique, right? Like you said, we started off with a lot of techniques. They progressed a bit here and there, and then eventually we were just like, okay, let's either. I think we even talked about it before we even launched the page. It was like we are going to dip into like some that are just here's a character theme, like all that kind of stuff. We did talk about that initially, so that wasn't like okay, let's just change it up from technique to now just like a character theme or whatever. It was kind of a part of the plan anyway. When we started either feeling comfortable with where we were at for certain techniques and whatnot, but no, I mean, I think that's really what it comes down to is that I still see myself as wanting to grow right now. I was actually just talking about it with Matt from TGAF yesterday, maybe even today, that like I'm right now, I feel like I am most passionate about the photography aspect of things. Right. This is like this year, I've found a lot of cool, I don't know, like I fell in love with it all over again. I always find like buying a few new figs helps with that. Because then I get inspired and shit like that. But I've been big on Instagram lately because of having to push for SPTC and TGAF and even run my own account. So I'm seeing a lot of other photography out there, and there's a handful of accounts out there that are really inspiring, really good photographers. Like there's some amazing shit out there, and I'm just kind of like trying to put myself into like Eric, right? Photographers like Eric. No, but for real, like I mean, his shit does inspire me very often, right? And that's kind of like what I'm always trying to push myself to not necessarily live up to what they can do, but like have my own style and grow in that own style. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a huge fan of lighting. And if I can grow in anything, that's usually where I like to grow. Yeah. And that's what I've been pushing myself on lately, big time. So yeah, like I think that's where SPTC is going. It's going in progression. Like if you guys want to grow with us, because like I want to keep growing, we're going to keep making the challenges a bit harder and harder. If you guys are keen on participating, I'm sure we'll end up seeing some participants drop off. And in the time that we've been doing this, there's also been participants that have we've gained and newcomers and stuff like that, right? New followers and shit. So where we lose a few every now and then, we also gain a few. So. I'm hoping that with going back to techniques and getting harder and harder in challenges in terms of lighting, maybe other shit, like we said, playing around with our camera settings and stepping outside of those comfort zones. I want to progress that way because I feel like at a certain point you plateau. And for me, that's where I was at for a good like 2-3 years, probably about 2 years ago. I was happy with my stuff, like, and I felt like, I know you're shaking your head, Eric. There's small progressions here and there, of course, but it's like, I don't know, you as an artist, you critique yourself really harshly. Oh, yeah. And that's where I was seeing things. I was like, things are just constant. Like either it's the same pose or it's the same dial that I'm using, or every time. I'm telling the same story but just a different character this time. So like I was getting stale in that way. And even just like a couple months ago, I felt like I was doing the same thing. But I don't know. Like I said, every once in a while, I just get jostled, and more recently, I got jostled, and now I'm like super gung ho about it. Yeah. So that's kind of where I see SPTC going. I know Eric is kind of along for the ride with me. So I don't know. Yeah, you say your piece on.
I see it. Obviously, I do see it just continuing. Yep. Because I'm not above revisiting challenges. First of all.
No, and also putting challenges together. Right. So it's like, here's this technique that we did at the beginning. Yes. Yeah. Right. Like things like that. You know what?
Which would culminate in every so often like a mega challenge where it's like 3 or 4 or 5 different techniques to make one cohesive, well put together, thought through setup. And I mean, like, but we're also talking about the internet too. And it's not like, I mean, we could even do stuff like, who knows, like, if it gets big enough, like an award, like, oh, this is for the year, this guy did the best. Or, I don't know how to approach it really, or like a giveaway for whoever gets this many votes or this likes on this, gets this. There's all kinds of stuff. It's like radio when it comes to that. Instagram, you can do challenges and giveaways and fucking.
So what I'll add to that, Eric, what I'll add to that really quick though, is just because like SPTC, we don't we don't typically have a winner. And that's
No,
like
no.
what we kind of,
No,
that's kind of what we prided ourselves on from the beginning, is that it's like no one really wins, and that's why the
No.
feature reel is what it is. It's everybody who participated, right?
And well, the thing is, it's like we've weirdly connected being featured with winning somehow in the first place, and I've never thought that was right. Like, but if I was to feature someone, it would be like, oh, most improved. How about that? Because you're not winning anything; we're just showing your appreciation. And then there's other things too. Like, I mean, who knows?
Like
we
heavy participants too, like people who've participated since day one, right? Like people who've been a part of every challenge. You know, like that deserves something in my opinion as well, because that's support. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people who helped push the name out there too. Like I've reached out to a handful of people who I felt close enough with on Instagram, saying, hey, do you mind like amping SPTC up on your stories or something like that, and telling other people who might not be friends with me or might not be friends with Eric or whatever, right? So it's cool to like have these people to help us push the page, and everyone deserves some recognition on that front, right? So yeah.
And if I'm honest, Dave, what's been really getting to me lately? Video of the setup, and not like a phone, but like in your camera, put it to video. And then put that in front of your setup, and you can literally you can take a light and like put it around in real time, see the fucking shadows moving on your setup and stuff. You blow the smoke in there in real time, watch what it's doing, and like I don't know, there's so much you can do. Stuff. Like like a well put together, cohesive behind the scenes even is art to me.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't really do that. It's usually just an iPhone kind of quick glance at behind the scenes. But like my videos for the challenges lately too have been in my video setting, and it's kind of just the same idea. But you know what you get to see there? Everything's really there.
Yeah.
Everything that you see in my photo is just there in the camera. There's no
It's not digitally put in there.
And I mean, don't get me started on that. But
no, don't get him started on that.
No, really?
We'll save that for a different show. We'll save that for a different show.
I don't want to exclude anybody, so I'm going to not be me for a second.
Gonna not be me. Oh,
wow.
I mean, I need to start doing more behind the scenes stuff, but I get so wrapped up in just getting like wanting to take the picture and play with the figures, I completely forget about setting up the phone or something, or taking the behind the scenes. And at the end, I'm like, well, shit, here, let me click a few pictures after I'm done with everything. But
don't forget too, like there's oftentimes. Well, you're exploding, bro.
Yeah, you're going off there, man.
Dave, I don't know about
celebration.
You, but like, okay, two things. First thing is back to you for a second, Dave, and how we're inspiring people. And bro, I knew I sucked the other day when I saw your cable shot. I was like, oh fuck.
Oh, come on.
I was like, no, I was like, oh shit, I'm fucking sucking and I'm falling behind. That was the jostle. Because you mentioned you had that jostle to get you back into whatever.
Yeah.
Bro, seeing your photo, I was like, I can't let Dave win.
Oh, come on.
I'm like, I can't let Dave win. I got to get better.
You surpassed me. I must not let this happen.
I'll super take that as a compliment.
Just a friendly rivalry. Just
Wait,
that's part of the community.
No, but you know what's funny? He just mentioned that photo, and I had two versions of that photo. I'd taken kind of a warmer version of it that looked very comic booky, and I took a cold one that to me, that's the one that I posted, that to me kind of felt almost Terminator, like it was like it was, the time travel kind of vibe, very cold vibe. Anyway, I often go to a couple friends. Sometimes I'll be like, hey, what do you guys think of this one versus this one? What's your opinion on it, kind of thing, right? Just to get like another eye. And when I asked Eric, what was your answer, Eric? I think that one he was like, well, that one is one that I would take. He was like, that one right there is like a setup that I would do. So, and then I was like, okay, so that's the one I'm posting.
You know what? Our lens, and I mean our actual what we see and perceive.
Yeah, what we see.
Our lens from what we see through is so different from you to me, from you to him.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, that's the whole idea of being self-taught, is because you have a certain lens that can see what looks maybe proper or not, along with getting info from the community and whatnot too. But you're not going to go in helpless. You're going to go in. If you're into photography, first of all, and action figure photography and posing, you're probably into art somehow too. You're somehow an artist that way as well. So it's already in your eye to see these things. And it's like, it's all art at the end of the day. And it's just, I don't know, it's tough, but it's always fun. It's a fun challenge. And like getting better, like eventually I'll peak. It'll be either because of equipment, I'll peak, skill, time and space. Like I don't know. I've been really snail's pace putting. My time is terrible right now. Like I'm snail pace putting a couple shots out a month only, and it's like I'm okay with that because we don't live in a fast-paced Instagram world. Not as far as I'm concerned. It's like I'll put an art piece out, and it should sit there for a couple weeks and brew for a bit. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I used to be daily, bro.
Yeah, and to touch on that, Eric, it's what you were talking about when we were talking about where we see SPTC going. Yeah. It's like that also does come down to the internet and how fast it evolves and and you know, like we try and make reels that are like minute long max because how big are people's attention spans these days? Fucking 30, nothing.
45 seconds.
You know what? Exactly. Like TikTok is the fucking thing. You know what I mean? Because it's like it's all these mini shits. You know what I mean? And like, and that's why I think old dudes like Eric and I are like fucking bitter because we're like, well, what about 10, 15 years ago when we were doing this shit and all that we cared about was the fucking photo that we were posting and that's it. Like now all Instagram cares about is like faces and songs and fucking and motion and reels and like making sure you're posting frequently. Like Instagram, like I've learned all this shit over the last couple of years. Like frequency is a thing. The algorithm wants you to fucking post like daily almost. And if you're not posting daily, you're going to drop behind, whether that be in your stories or a reel. Like photos are cool, but they're not going to fucking put you ahead of the game in the algorithm because there's people who are putting out daily reels and they're fucking bomb ass reels and like and their photos are cool as shit too. So you know what I mean? Like it just that's how it all fucking snowballed. So exactly. So I mean. So you know,
spend all my time watching everybody else. I can't do my own shit. Damn it.
Well, I mean, and that's, but that's what I'm saying. It's like that's maybe how far SPTC goes is how far people's attention span goes. Because once we see those numbers like seriously decline, and we're like trying to improve, and like Instagram is like not helping us do that. Then that's fine. Then that's where we'll be like, okay, so Eric and I, you just want to keep collabing and then fuck everyone. You know what I mean? Because like it is what it is at that point, you know.
At that point, it comes down to the actual community to continue supporting because
and
you want to
that will be the case. Yeah.
Get to a stage where it's like, I don't know. We all know that there's like kind of competition out there to be I'm the best this or the best this. Like, I don't want to be the best of a toy challenge page, but if you could be some sort of like staple in the community that you're just kind of, it doesn't need to be blasting thousands of likes popular, but just always there and just like a trusty page that always can bring in, there's always going to be new people to the game. Yeah. They're always going to want to, some people are super hesitant to ask about how he did something. So now you're just telling them before they have to ask. So, and I don't know. It's tough. It's weird.
And we do encourage people to ask us, like every time. I know, again, people's attention spans are small, so every time we put those captions, like I put those captions underneath, it does explain what the challenge is. It also tells people to reach out to us if you've got questions. It also tells people that we're busy dudes and we might miss your photo, so please DM us with your photo if you feel like we've missed it after the feature reel's been posted. Like we do all, like exactly. All those little paragraphs mean something. Like I know this is a lot of copy paste bullshit that like a lot of people understand that it doesn't take that much effort to do, but I still put work into it, to reach out to you guys.
It takes time. It takes time
to let you guys know what the challenge is, how long it's on for, and to, again, just remember that like you guys can reach out to us. Again, we're not professionals, but we will try and help you out with a roadblock or something that you might not understand, or maybe you just misunderstood what the challenge is, because, there's been times where we're like, hey, I can't even think of an example. Like maybe it was character representation and somebody thought like, the idea of character representation, which by the way I think was my favorite challenge that we did.
That was good. It was good.
And the idea of that one is like, okay, choose something that makes you think of that character. So like, Wolverine's claws or like Captain America's shield, right? But don't show me their face, right? And there was a handful of submissions that were like, very borderline. Like, it's like, I still see who you're talking about. Like, you're not giving us enough of like what the representation is. You're just telling me who it is. Right. So
give me a tool they would use that you would associate it with.
Exactly. Yeah. Or like a symbol or like anything, you know what I mean? Like there's so many characters I can think of that like, it's not even necessarily a tool. There's like maybe just like a setting even, you know what I mean? Like it's so representative of that character. Right. So it's, anyway. So, I mean, just reach out to us and hopefully we can help you out. And if not, like, that's again what Eric just said. It's like it's a platform for people to kind of communicate, and we're also a shoulder to lean on. Like it's more than just like drop like what TGAF is, that other account that I'm a part of with Matt. Drop your photo. We'll feature one that we like every week. It's simple. That's simple, and that's still a lot of fun, and that does still help people progress. But this is specific to helping people actually try and put in effort into what they're actually what the photo is supposed to be, right? So
to keep
it's up to you to participate or not. Yeah, it's up to you to participate or not. But the tagging us specifically is for those of you who do want to participate in actually trying for the theme challenge. Yeah, and I do go through the hashtag every week. I go through the hashtag nonstop just to see if there are photos that meet the theme, and I'll throw you in the reel anyway, even if it wasn't your intention to be featured. If it fits the bill, then why not, right? So, and it gives people the chance to have their photo featured on another platform. So
to give them that sense, that kind of sense of accomplishment. Oh shit, people are noticing me.
Yeah, appreciation. Yeah, we appreciate you. That's it.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
My attention span is a small.
Oh boy.
We can save them for that. Yeah. No, that's perfect.
Yeah, I mean, any little thing. I mean, when people are first starting out, they think they sometimes hear the wrong people, and they hear them. Oh, it's all about the likes. It's all about the likes. You got to get all these likes, and a lot of my friends, we're not in this not to get likes. But that's not the most important thing for us.
That's not the point.
I think the most important thing, for me, the most important thing is connecting with people of similar interests and, getting to be a part of the community and getting to know more people and sharing my work with similar people and learning how to be better, learning to grow that passion. And I think a lot of the newcomers that come in, if their work is, kind of, I don't want to say subpar is a bad thing, but when compared to other
beginners.
people, when it's beginner work, and they're trying to compare themselves to these other artists that have been doing it for years, don't do that. Don't compare yourself to that. But if you want, strive to be like that and work at it and do these collabs.
Reach out to them. Reach out to them.
Yeah.
Stay in your lane, new guy.
If they're
Wow.
Hey, new guy, shut up.
I was literally just gonna say, if they're a dick, they'll shut you out, and if they're not, they'll fucking answer you. But Eric just kind of like painted that picture for us. So
I'm just playing.
No, he's playing. Of course, he's playing.
I mean, obviously, what you guys have been doing with this collab page. I mean, you guys are definitely two of the more positive pillars in the community. Pushing this collab and putting these challenges out and doing exactly that, putting people, in this frame of mind that, I can grow in this world, I can grow in this passion, and I can be, at that level at some point, but somebody was discussing the other day, you were saying something about it earlier, about don't be that person, but take and learn from that person and put your own spin on it. Put your own style to it.
Because there's a difference between like trying to emulate so much that you're like your account becomes their account. You know what I mean? Like it's like
I fell in that trap when I first started. I fell in that.
Yeah.
I saw one guy. I was like, I want to be that guy.
I straight up did too. You know what? It's actually funny. When I fell in love with collecting GI Joes for like a small bout of time, I was like, you know what? My account is going to turn into this guy's account because I like Joes just as much as he does, and I'm going to fucking only post Joes because I'm like, super into the military. But no, like it. The more I actually, Eric again helps me out with that kind of thing. I feel like you've kept me very level-headed this whole time, man. Is that it's not about that. You know what I mean? It's like it's just be your fucking page, man. Like you
do
like
what you
art.
want. Yeah.
Yeah, and you like collecting figures. So show love to all your fucking figures, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's and on top of that, I think the more I started adopting that mentality, kind of going back to that, is just kind of like I'm kind of OCD, and I like seeing my account look colorful and not be just one person, or not be just one theme, or not be just one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Gallery
I exactly. I like my gallery to be fucking peppered with different colors and different characters and different whatever, right? So I'm kind of OCD on that front. I think nowadays it's like max. I'll shoot somebody twice in a row, like, you know what I mean? Because like it's a new figure and I'm like amped up about it. But like
never.
That's I know you don't. I know you don't. Fuck,
you got your picture to the side.
Yeah.
I took a shot once and I'm like, fucking,
dude, he's taking pictures and he's giving me the toy afterwards. Like that's it.
Wow.
Like, literally,
you be gone.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm done with
Straight
you.
up.
I'm done with you.
To be
Straight
honest, guys, like I'm an action figure photographer over
I was gonna
collector.
say, yeah,
I am. I have a huge collection. Don't get me wrong, but that's just due to a necessary purchase for the photography of that. I would love to just borrow everyone's shit. Like, just start sending me shit and I'll borrow it and I'll send it back.
If you could rent action figures, you would.
Dave, let me just rent a few from
now.
you,
I know where we'll make my millions right there.
There you go.
There's late fees too. So
yeah, there's late fees.
We give you an ID card, so you're gonna have to check it out like the library used.
Yeah, dude. I'm sorry, I've only got one copy left.
I don't have any doubles.
Of action figures.
I don't have any doubles.
Yeah. Do you see the disc behind the case? Then it's not there. It's not there.
Yeah. All the same rules apply, man. I love that.
Yeah. I'm like that. I'm kind of like Eric on that one. I collect. I've got a lot of collections. I have my personal collection that means stuff to me. That's my nostalgia. But if my figures aren't working, then they gotta go.
Dude,
I'll send them off to better homes.
Bro, I sell them. Yeah, I rent.
I am also
tables at shows to sell them. Yeah.
I am also like Eric on that front. That's why I'm so choosy. That's why I run into issues every now and then with Matt, where he's like, "Hey, let's do this character," and I'm like, "I don't have that character," because I just it's either the character doesn't either mean enough to me for me to own it, or I had it before and it's just kind of like an older figure. I don't care enough about it anymore, so I sold it. There's tons of reasons why I might not have that person anymore, but like, yeah, for me, it is solely about the photography aspect of it. That's why I'm so passionate about it more recently. The subject is just the subject, like I do get inspired when I buy a new fig, of course. And I do love handling them. I do love playing with them. I do love looking them up on my shelf. I do love posing them. I think any toy collector does really, but it really does come down to I collect for the photography aspect of it, and that's it. Because there are some figs that I've shot once and they're in my bin. That's that.
Yeah. Like
I've bought for that reason. Bought for one photo, and I'm like, cool, got that photo that I wanted.
Yeah. So, speaking of action figures, we have talked about your guys' collaboration, and again, it is something that I encourage the community to get involved with and to check out those challenges and be a part of it and grow with it. Check their page out, SPT Toy Challenges. Check out, you said it's bi-weekly, correct?
Yeah, bi-weekly. Yeah, okay. We post every week, but the challenge lasts for 2 weeks. So what you just that initial photo that you posted of the Halloween challenge, that was Eric's there. So this is the second week of the challenge. We usually take turns, in terms of who leads the photo and stuff like that. So
Okay. And so jump out there, check it out, take a look at it. Now let's move on to the more exciting stuff. You guys are action figure collectors, photographers, And apparently, a certain project is in the works.
Yes. Yes, sir. So I think the natural expansion of being a photographer of action figures, collector, customizer is eventually making your own action figure of a design that's yours, something original, something that's obviously not out there, or not a direct copy. So it's hard to avoid. Honestly, it's hard to avoid, like, because everything's been done in the world.
Yeah.
Everything's been done. So
overlap is the word. So like idea overlaps and stuff, right?
So basically, this is a character. His name is Wolf Maddox. He's basically like a space sheriff type of an idea.
Space cowboy.
He's a space cowboy, space sheriff. Technology meets Western style action figure. So this is a 12-inch hard copy, basically a proof of concept like statue.
Okay.
So he's 3D printed into like 6 parts and put together, but no movability. So this thing started off like, again, me and Dave and a couple other close friends on Instagram. I had the idea and the capability because I had met someone to help me 3D sculpt and sculpting in general. And we had reached out. We were trying to get some ideas together. I was like, guys, we have a chance to like get a idea of ours come to life in real sculpt and like eventually get that sculpt or cast or molded or printed, whatever the case may be. So it kind of started that way. I approached a couple of the guys. We wanted to have an idea. Let's put our minds together and come up with some stuff. A couple of the guys kind of backed out right away. They weren't really interested in it. They weren't really maybe ready for it, or maybe that's not something they want. That's fine. I was kind of just trying to involve my friends. And then Dave was basically the guy that stepped up, and I was like, listen, I suck at drawing, and I need like some kind of proof of kind of just like some sketch concepts to play off of. I'm like, can someone give me a couple like faces, give me a couple heads, a couple of ideas? And the only person really to come through was Dave, and he was kind of playing off my love of other indie toys and like Sofubi. I don't know if you guys are familiar with what Japanese vinyl toys are.
Mm-hmm.
The soft vinyl stuff.
Yeah.
So he played into my kind of idea like that. He drew me a sketch of basically this character. Just penciled it in. He sent it to me. I basically took it from there. And was just kept pushing with it. I got another artist to draw another concept sketch, baby steps, just little thing after little thing. And Dave's schedule and what Dave's doing, he didn't really want to. I don't want to say he didn't want to partner up, but he just wanted to just kind of let me take the reins and just kind of see where I could go with it. I have a bit more connections with some people. I have a bit more reach when it comes to people that can help with 3D sculpting, casting, painting, comic book illustrating, all kinds of stuff like that. So it
also just kind of comes down to the fact that like I at the time when all this was starting to kick off, when him and I first started talking about this at all, and it was starting to become a little bit more of a real thing, I was giving him drawing ideas. Sure, I was passing them on, but the more it became real, I think the more I was getting the cold feet vibe of like, my schedule was super busy at the time, and I didn't feel like I could commit to the level of drawing that he needed, and even the amount that might have needed to be produced in a certain amount of time.
That's true. That's true, Dave. I forgot about that. I was kind of pestering these guys to try to like help.
It needed to happen, right? And like I get it, and like that's kind of like that's the whole game, right? If like you're trying to get something kickstarted, of course you fucking need it. You need the ball rolling, right? Like it's not right, exactly. And like and then on top of that, you're talking to connections, so it's like, okay, this guy needs that drawing by this time, so that way you get, you know what I mean? Like it's a process. So like the more I was realizing that for him, the more I was like, I don't want to fucking hold you back, so I don't know if I can be the guy. Right.
And
so
that's Dave? In hindsight, that was even a few years ago now, and it's still a labor of love, and it's still baby steps. So in hindsight, I might have been pressuring you guys for no reason, but really, everything kind of worked out to where it is now. And it had to have been for a reason, because through you saying, you know what, I ended up reaching out to another good friend artist of mine who gave me a 3D turnaround sketch. So
Turned out sick,
a
dude.
turnaround,
Awesome.
right? And then from there, that my friend on Instagram, Nads Doodles, Neil, he even was like, I can't do much more than that for you either. So it's input from people, and it ends up a huge indie collaboration from so many different parts in the toy community. I have to give a big, huge shout out to Solomon Witt, my good friend. He's a co-admin on the action figure customization group on Facebook called Keep It 100, which my buddy Marauder Rubin started. So Solomon has been basically Solomon and Lee Aller on Instagram, who does Lab Monkey Toys right now, are the two guys that basically helped me out the most with the further production with the 3D sculpt. Lee Aller did this 3D sculpt for me, basically free of charge. My buddy Solomon Witt,
awesome.
he did all the other art that you'll eventually see me putting out. He did comic book pages for me, because I intend on putting a mini comic book out to go along with this, like an introduction type of origins idea. And basically, without those two guys, I wouldn't be even near where I am. It would still be like just kind of like art, but now it's actually in hand.
It's a process that's slowly building. I mean,
talk about that though, Eric. What's the sorry? What's the name of it, man? Like you were saying, like there's like an art process, right? Like you're talking about comic book and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What's the name?
The name?
I know there's a name. Say the name.
Oh, so also Dave helped me out with the name. So his name is Wolf Maddox, like I've said.
Yep.
The world, the universe that I created for him is called New Historics. So
there it is.
That's
what I was saying.
Yeah, thanks. And it says the Outer West down there. So New Historics being like the general name for the universe, maybe the comic, the whole idea. It's a play on like historical. It's because the idea, once you start to get into it, is that it's almost like a history repeats no matter what, no matter where. So him being like a westerny cowboy with like technology and stuff is just hinting at the fact that like history repeated itself on a planet somewhere too, and it's like the Wild West on an entire planet. So it's called the Outer West. It's a play on new history, new historical, things like this. It was something that wasn't taken as far as copywriting and trademarking as well. So that worked out for me. So this first version of the character is in a Western theme. So it's called The Outer West. So I don't know. It was just kind of off the top of the head, also looking for originality, looking for something that hasn't really been heard before. Like I've never heard something called New Historics before.
Yeah.
So I mean, just trying to take like creative liberties as far as what people might gravitate towards, and would be like originality and like just independently made and original.
That's awesome. That is really awesome.
Which there's a huge market for, of course.
Oh yeah. Everybody's looking for something outside the norm, something outside what you see every day.
I mean, think of Mythic Legions, right? Everyone's super into Mythic Legions and shit like that, right? Why couldn't we have like a whole world of like space cowboys and like cool shit? Like it's like a mixture of that with G.I. Joes, you know what I mean? Like it's pretty neat.
A major blessing would be for these guys to make my character.
Yeah, right.
There's a lot of people asking for that type, that genre. They want cowboys, they want samurais. We don't really have too many of those, And right here, you've got space cowboys. I mean, there you go.
And funny enough, you said samurai. One of the original ideas that we had as the villain for Wolf Maddox was going to be a space samurai, right? So it was kind of like cowboys, like the West versus, you know what I mean, versus that whole culture. Yeah. I thought that we also thought that would be kind of cool.
That's an awesome concept. Yeah,
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, back to the original plan too. I definitely quickly realized I had to like tone back expectations. Hey, Cal. And I had
There's the pup.
Puppy. Yeah, it's my turn to sit with you. Just scoot over.
Son of a. I definitely
You've been on too
realized.
long.
I realized I had to like tone down my expectations. So it went from like, oh, I'll get a couple characters, a couple this, and it really narrowed it down. Okay, one character, one 3D sculpt, one initial introduction in a comic, one packaging. So it really toned it back. It slowed down the pace of things, but also allowed it to be really indie and something that I could even keep up with. Because, like I said, it came from a pencil drawing Dave sent me over Instagram to a 5 points articulation 4-inch action figure.
See, we already got fans of it.
Thanks, bro.
Look at that.
So, I love that you already have a 5 point of articulation action figure of Wolf. Like, that's so cool.
Yeah, like his arms move. This is
that's dope, man.
This is a 3D printed version of things. I mean, the goal is obviously to get it like cast and molded and cast, like with real plastic, giving it better quality. And I know guys that can deliver techniques into that can really help me push this to the next level.
I think to circle back to what you were saying there, Eric, going at the pace that you went at and focusing on the one character specifically probably helps you develop this more and more efficiently, right? Instead of like, exactly. It's and especially if it's like mostly you handling it, you know, I feel like that's that's an easier way of going about things instead of like, you know, here's this full thing, you know?
My first wave is going to be 16,000 people. Let's go.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Well, you know what? I was heavily influenced by other Kickstarter projects at the time, and that's what they were like. Like, remember, Articulated Icons.
Articulated Icons. Yep.
So our introduction to the type of Kickstarter genre things were like 10 characters, 30 hands, weapons, all this stuff. And in my mind, I was like, we need like a line. We need a line. And I'm like, you don't need a line. You need a solid concept and just something solid
that
enough
you can build on
to then eventually have a line off of it. So even the next character for him, once I get, you know, it's such a, you guys don't understand how hard this stuff actually is to coordinate with people and ask for things, and hopefully it's on their time and I'm not interrupting and bothering their current projects. It gets crazy. So I'm not going with a Chinese factory. I'm not going Kickstarter. I'm not doing, this is all just like basement style.
Right.
So like I'll literally even be painting a small run of these, like 25 of these by hand.
Nice. Guerrilla style. That's what this is, man.
It's indie.
It's like guerrilla warfare, but it's guerrilla toy designing.
It's super indie. It doesn't get more indie. It's like a garage band. Doesn't get more indie. So really do appreciate you obviously taking the time and talking to me about that. I've been just trickling things out on Instagram because, to be honest, bros, there's a lot of, like, I made sure I got this copywritten and stuff even before I showed that logo. Because you're talking about things that are like ready to go. Someone's like, "Oh, cool, free logo. It's not even copyrighted. Now it's mine." Like, that's the kind of stuff I'm scared of, like trademark infringement and shit like that. Yeah. So that gets scary.
Vazone says he needs a big Mexican gunslinger with bullet straps and cyborg arms.
I agree 100%.
Dude,
you need it's got to be like what's his name? Oh, geez, that dude who's in every movie. Christ.
Oh, Danny Trejo.
Danny Trejo, thank you. Yeah, Machete, exactly. You need his character with cyborg arms. I agree 100%.
Now
Cyborg Cartel.
Vaz does both him and his wife do some amazing custom stuff. Like, they'll take a figure and turn it into something completely different.
I love that.
They are amazing.
Machete? No, the Vaz guy who just commented. Dummy.
Vaz.
I'm so fucking stupid.
But they've both of them. They've created so many characters that the community, the toy community really doesn't see.
Oh,
But
and
the line that you're doing, again, there's a huge hole for that line. Space Cowboys. You don't see those, and the concept of the figure. Wow.
Taking it in the mouth.
That figure looks amazing.
Wow.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. Sorry, I know I'm fucking stupid, but
his wife is making a troll and a dragon in one.
Nice.
So,
from what? Let me ask you that, Vaz.
Mythic Legions.
Oh, okay. And is it a troll initially, and she's turning it into a dragon to make it that vibe, or is it like okay?
Yeah. Let's see. Okay. Also customizes base.
Good for Danny Trejo.
Hey, look at the size
He
difference.
does everything.
Oh wow, you're 5 points. Yeah.
Wow.
So you've got like a 1/6 scale figure statue, and then you've got and a 1/18th, 1/18th scale GI Joe essentially. Yeah.
Yeah, she's taking a troll and turning it into a dragon.
Yeah. Okay. Cool, man. That's dope, ass. That's dope. I'm gonna have to follow your guys' page then to see the end result of that, because that sounds cool.
They just started a YouTube channel, so go check it out. Vazone YouTube. First episode's already up.
Nice.
Cool.
Shameless plug for him. But
nice.
No, so it seems like any process. If you rush it, it's going to be shit. But you've taken your time with it. You've I mean, whether you want it to or not, you've kind of marinated with it, and you've gotten a great product to put together.
Thanks, man.
You've got this story, because for me, that's a big part. I want to know the story. I like creating my own stories, but I want to know the story of these characters that I'm digging into.
Yeah.
And
especially if you're going to take a picture of it.
Yeah.
I've taken photos
comic
of
book
this
to go with it.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, it's just honestly like the Sofubi world really got me into that, because I want this as is produced in a soft vinyl. Like it'll move its arms and head only. Like I'm not a sucker for articulation through and through that way. I'm a sucker for art. And when you get into Sofubi, it's super based off like just original sculpts too.
Yeah.
And then you even get into collaborations from famous painters that paint Sofubi.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden you're into this whole other wing of the toy photography collecting community. Bro, it gets crazy.
But it's still so heavily art based, right? It's not just like he's saying, it's not just the articulation of the action figure that people have the appreciation for. It comes down to like the love of the sculpt and the original design and all that kind of stuff, right?
Just the idea, the how to do this, the fact that wild colors, like it's just the whole like how many people don't even understand how hard just even general painting of anything is, like.
Right.
Oh, I do. I've tried
oh
it.
my god, it's so hard. So
it's like a kindergartner and painted most of my stuff.
Stupid hard.
I'm done. I can't put that out. I'm good.
I'm throwing this in the garbage.
I'm rubbing this off. Lord, what did I do? But I mean, as a person, I collect Funkos and I take pictures of Funkos. So I know, it's not all about the articulation. It's what you
dude. And you know what
put
Funko
into
is?
That photo.
Those Funko Pops are
What's up, Blitz?
They're Americanized vinyls. They're Americanized vinyls.
That's it.
They're basically American Sofubi, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah.
So it's right up there.
And that's, I think that's another one, like Legos. You said you started with Legos, right, Dan?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So
no worries,
it's like Legos, Funkos, those figures that, even 5 point. I want to get a 5 point Mezco Godzilla set so bad.
Yeah, so sick.
It doesn't have a lot of articulation, but they look so good.
Well, there's a dude that I follow.
They would make amazing photos.
There's a dude's account I follow. I can't even remember his name right now, so I feel bad. But he posts solely the like 80s Joes, like the the 3.5 inch with the very little articulation, and he does amazing setups with like explosion backgrounds and like wicked dios and stuff like that. Like that shit's awesome.
Is it Mater?
You know what I mean?
Is it Mater?
Yes, that's it. Thank you, Mater. Yeah, totally. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about for sure. Like incredible artist, and again, he shows love to like the figure that doesn't necessarily need the world's most articulation. He's just got incredible lighting, incredible, like he knows his photography is great, right?
Oh,
so and
amazing.
it's just,
dude. I've always been saying that too, Dave. You know this too, that it's really, when it comes to photography, don't get me wrong, it's nice to pose shit in action, right? But to me personally, it comes down to like the props and the setting, the placement of these props, and like just your whole composition
that you build around it. Yeah,
your whole composition.
That's the word. That's the word. Composition
and the lighting. So
so
proper composition of props, but composition includes placement of lights too. So it comes down to composition over everything. Like scroll down to my page enough, I have characters with no articulation, these Japanese vinyls, and I put them in a setting with lighting and everything like I was just doing a regular action figure. And it works totally. It totally works.
Definitely works. Yeah, definitely. And that's the thing, is that like that's kind of how we learn to apply these techniques as well, right? It's just, it literally comes down to like not necessarily needing to have somebody in action, but like he just said, using your environment to create a flow that appeals to the eye. So we're talking about as photographers. So we're talking about as photographers having an eye for a good photo, right? Yes, exactly. That's where I'm going. So like, exactly, right? I mean, if you're familiar with photography and you're going to that level, you're probably familiar with the Fibonacci spiral, or the golden ratio, however you want to term it. It literally, it's like, it's a very appealing a setup to your photo, right? And that doesn't necessarily mean just the figure and how he's posed to make that Fibonacci spiral make sense in your photo, because it can be taken in so many different ways, right? The Fibonacci spiral can start up in the top left, it can start up in the bottom right. Doesn't matter, but it does create a flow in your photo, right? So it does, I don't know how many times, ever since Eric showed me that, he was the person who introduced me to that. I've noticed it a handful of times in just his photos alone, where I'm like, oh, I see what you're doing there, right? Where it's like the flames, the flames kind of pile up to the one corner, and like, you know what I mean? Like he's got barrels in the background that also draw your eye to it, and then all of a sudden it leads right to the guy's fucking face, right? So it makes sense to be very prop, you know what I mean? Like to be not heavy, but like to use them appropriately, I guess. Exactly. So, there's the word. Yeah.
Are you aware of what we mean? So we're literally, me and Dave went out and purchased this, literally a plastic clear square. Do you have it, Dave?
Yep, right here.
I don't have mine with me, but it literally will show you the golden angle.
Oh shit! Look at that.
So hold it close.
Here, I'll put it in front of my chest so you can see it, because of the black.
So I'll literally put that in front of my viewfinder on my camera, and I'll literally put props along the line, and I'll literally have the character's face fall within the final last square, and this all generates rule of thirds. It generates flow. It generates proper, like, this is what's used in advertising. You know what I mean? So having one of these guys is super essential, in my opinion, for anyone going forward. Like, I'll literally hold it up and move the garbage can over there so it's there, and now it's literally mathematically pleasing to your eye.
So when I'm looking at it in my camera, sometimes I'll literally just put it up to my camera, right? And then you can kind of see if things line up properly, right? And then I can even hold it there and move things to actually line them up nicely, right? So this thing is a fucking amazing tool. We got these on Etsy.
Get that? Etsy? Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So they're just hand scribed.
Yeah.
Do they come singular or do they come in a pack?
Great purchase, singular.
Okay.
$9, I think, is what I paid for this.
Dude, if you're a fan of art or photography, even in general, like, you could hold that up to like things in nature. You can look through it and like see, and like, oh, that's how that is, and hold it up to like a, and
it's like your pocket cheat sheet.
Yeah. And Dave, don't forget, like, you don't need the whole thing. I don't ever use the whole thing.
No, I know. I
actually
dude.
use just the one half because
component of it,
because it's the same thing in
It's
each
exactly.
cut.
I know.
Yeah,
it just
okay.
gets bigger and bigger. I know. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
so
Okay.
I literally
Yeah.
hold it at like arm's length and just look through it. Yeah. So, but yeah, there's those definitely like those 4 components. My 4 components are background, foreground, lighting, and character strength.
Mhm.
Like whatever the
I love
character's
that.
strength is. If it's Scream, if it's fucking Ghostface, he's gonna be murdering somebody. He's not gonna be.
Yeah.
He's not just gonna be walking around. He's gonna be chasing or like
He's
stalking.
gonna be holding his fucking hand up. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And if it's McFarlane, he's gonna be a fucking idiot.
Right, you got those feet in it. You got those feet in there. The square is going to be his feet. Yeah, there you go.
Oh
See?
my god.
Dude, wait. Yeah. Yes, you can get those toes.
They're
toes.
I get those-
Articulation.
Nah.
You can curl
I
them
love
toes.
that he has
we're
toe
not getting kicked off.
articulation.
Okay, that's for OnlyFans. All right, you leave the feet there.
Eric,
Might
you got to
give me
show
some
that.
paid subscriptions now, but okay.
Nah.
Eric, you got to show that on your OnlyFans later.
Yeah, there you go.
Remember back in the day that people were making those like 112 dicks?
Oh my god. Yeah,
Remember
people
that?
still do. People still do. I've seen that shit, man. I've seen that shit.
is so
People,
funny.
dude, there's customizers that have that shit on eBay for sure. Because like people will buy those.
Packs.
I gotta
Yeah,
get one
people
for Toddy.
exactly.
All kinds of that stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Gotta get one for Toddy Tickles here.
Full on private part packs for sure. Different sizes,
man.
different colors, different arches, different arches.
Arches. Only the big ones go left, okay?
Oh, man. That's awesome.
No,
Holy
but I
shit.
forgot how we got off of this tangent, but it's great.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, well, welcome to the show. That's usually what happens.
Yep. Usual shenanigans. It's a norm. It's a norm.
Oh yeah.
Good.
But all right, so we've reached an hour and a half. Let's close it out.
All right.
You guys, you're our guest. Go ahead, throw out anything that you want to throw out as far as shout outs
Oh, yeah.
or promotions or whatever you want.
Dave, go ahead.
No, yeah. So I mean, we've got one more week. We're Monday right now. We shut the challenge down on Friday at the end of the 2-week session. So until this Friday, you've got the ability to pump in as many fucking Halloween vibe photos you want. Make sure you tag us again at SP Toy Photo Challenges. And make sure you use the hashtag. The hashtag, like I said, I always include the caption. It's just for fun. You can throw in whatever the fuck you want for the hashtag. But if you do throw in something that is Halloween inspired in that hashtag, we are gonna fucking take your photo and we're gonna feature you. So be happy about it. No, but like I said, this week's this theme is SPTC_Halloween. All right. So yeah. That hashtag is valid up until this Friday, and then we're going to change the theme up again. So, yeah, that's that.
Eric?
I just want to give a shout out to Sharkman Dave. He's the best. He's super strong and shit. I don't know if you guys realize he's like a strong guy. Like,
You know what's funny? I was sitting here
Bro,
thinking he
he's
could
a
play a
beast.
good Wolverine.
Yeah,
I
he's
was
a
just thinking
fucking
about it the whole
beast,
time
so-
as I'm looking at him. I'm like, Wolverine.
I've dressed up as Wolverine before, yeah.
Every
Yeah,
time I
yeah.
talk to him, I
Yeah.
say he's a sex beast. So shout out to Dave for still, honestly, including me in the SP Toy Photo Challenge page. It really keeps me even.
Doing
It keeps me relevant in a way, and I really do appreciate it because it's just. I want to shout out to you. Shout out to the SP Toy Photo Challenges page. Follow that shit, guys. Join in. We're OGs in the community, so like, just it's like we're just trying to give back. That's all we're trying to do. And thanks again, guys, for showing the new historics. You can go to new_historics. That's historics with 2 X's at the end. You can follow that Instagram page too. See a couple updates if you want. Yeah, really do appreciate it. This is fun. I haven't podcasted in a long time, and thanks very much for considering me, guys.
For real.
Well, I appreciate you guys coming on. I really do. And thank you for sharing it with us, your project, the History X looks amazing. Or New History X looks amazing.
Yeah.
I can't wait to
New
see where you can go with
historics.
it. New Historics.
It's all
There
good,
it is.
bro.
There it is.
It's weird. I get
The
it. It's
Outer
weird.
West. I got it.
There you go.
There you go. There you go.
I'm an old man.
Hell
No,
yeah.
no. All good.
Ooh.
Thank you
So
very much.
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys
Dope
coming
thing.
on and sharing this time with us. Zay, you got anything?
I got one person that I want to shout out here. His name is. I hope I'm saying his name right. I was having trouble. Shannon Ruck. Okay, he does a whole lot of toy photography as well.
Watch out for her
action figures, mostly on the Lego sphere, as we were talking about Legos. Seconds. He does a lot of pictures with Legos and a couple other action figures. And one time he just hit. I was doing an Instagram live. He was just in the chat. He would normally come in sometimes, but I think it was the first time I actually spoke like to him. I'd normally say hey to everyone. I'd just be like, hey, just ask me how his day was, and I was like, he told me he does this stuff, and I'm like, hey, I can shout you out or whatever. And he has some pretty good pictures. And he's also starting
Sick.
out. He's a pretty much beginner. I think he has about 500 followers. I think the last time I checked.
I follow a lot of Lego accounts still, just because that's again my roots, and I still love that shit. So
yeah, just to look back, yeah, he has 639 followers. I have to check that, but yeah, go check his page out, and let him know if he needs to upgrade on some things or whatever, and just give him that advice. I can see the potential there in his pictures. And
what we would do is reach out to him and say, hey, hit us up if you've got anything you want. Just telling somebody this is how you do things isn't exactly a great approach. So
yeah, okay, yeah, I got you. I'm still new in this thing too.
So you guys,
I got
you're going in the right direction. Your stuff looks good. Keep going.
Yeah, keep going. Yeah.
For sure.
That's all. I think that's all I have to shout out for the most part for today. I only got one today.
All right. Well, let me go through the weekly shows then. So we got ours, Ravens Across Sands, on YouTube. We got Toy Photography Talk, Behind the Plastic, The Tomb with Skeleton Collectibles, Dead Man Zilla, The Pick Bar with Blitzpigs, Thor, AB, and Green Geek 88. Thursdays, A Worthy Addiction with Unworthy Collector and Toy Addict 17. Friday, World Makers Consortium with Brad Toy, Zilla, Famine Studios, Outer Multiverse. Sunday, we have the Latin Legions 20 toy box open today. Such a long lane. Alberto Magana, Psycho Ed 75 collectible fun, and the Lazy Boys on Sunday. Unboxing art on Wednesdays. Plastic Journey on Tuesdays, Hoodcast AF, and the weekly Habit Unlimited and Highly Posable. Go check out those shows. Man, this list gets longer every time I say it, I swear. But it is worth it. It is worth it. Every one of those shows I've mentioned is very positive in the community. They put out so much good stuff, so much positive content, much like SP Toy photo challenges.
Hey, they deserve their flowers, man. They deserve their flowers.
And so everybody go out there, take a look at it, take a look at them, look them up, spread the love amongst the community, reach out, join those collabs, and have some fun. All right, gentlemen, just hang on after the outro and the stream ends, and we'll do a quick talk afterwards. Good to go?
All right.
Sound good.
Everybody in chat, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and thank you for joining us. We out.
Thanks for having us, guys.
Peace.